Wow. I usually give impromptu speeches, but today I get myself prepared with a speech so that I can just read and make sure that I don't say the wrong thing in front of all our guests. Okay, a very good afternoon, our respected speakers, Professor Chen online, and then, of course, Professor Dato' Hamdi, the VCs of University Malaysia, no stranger to us. Our moderator, Tina Young. Thanks again coming back to us. Tina was actually our moderator in the earlier conference, the IHEC 2022. And of course, to our VC, Dr. Joseph Lee, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon again. I'm a bit nervous now because it really gives me the highest honor to be standing here and welcoming all of you physically in this lecture theater. And of course, virtually on the Teams, there are a lot more participants with us now to this greatly anticipated seminar. The future of higher education industry is one of the popular topics of discussions, especially after a long 2 years of unprecedented disruptions on how we used to live, how we used to learn, work, and socialize. It is our INTI aspirations to build up our focus on academic excellence and students' experiences for educations of younger generations of Malaysia and the region. This topic is not only relevant and important to us, but it is equally relevant and important to our students. Thanks to the Associations of Global Industry Academia Collaboration Malaysia, you see the funding below, behind me, an association which believes in people network for the benefits of talent development. We are gathered here today to learn through the lenses of the two prominent speakers today. Let me take a quick moment to just briefly introduce our speaker. I'm sure if you Google now, Professor Haydn Chen and Professor Muhammad Hamdi, you can see a lot of their CVs or resume online. But allow me a moment. Professor Chen, an accomplished and highly respected researcher and educator, recipients of 28 honors from world-renowned professional associations and networks, university in the US, UK, Germany, Japan, China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Throughout his academic career in the past 50 years, he has served in various senior leadership positions at different aspects of the university management. And this include as the president in Tung University, Taiwan, Administrative Fellow in the Office of the Vice President for Academic Affairs at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Vice Director for Students Affairs at University of Macau, Chair Professors at City University of Hong Kong, and Professor at National Chiao University, Taiwan. Next, Yang Berbahagia Professor Dato' Hamdi, the Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia, received his first degree from Imperial College London, Master of Science in Advanced Manufacturing and Management Technology from University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology, and Doctor of Engineering from Kyoto University, Japan. Commencing his academic career as a tutor back in the 90s in University Malaysia, Professor Dato' Hamdi progresses to become a lecturer, head of department, dean, deputy vice chancellor, the visiting professor at University of California, USA. And throughout his academic career, he has produced more than 160 impactful publications in journals in text by the Web of Science, mentor more than 150 postgraduate candidates, and supervise a total of 66 doctoral candidates. His astonishing academic excellence, as well as his remarkable leadership quality, have made him a natural fit to helm the University Kebangsaan Malaysia as its Vice Chancellor in 2019, and in November 2020, the Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia. Impressive. University for the future and the future of university is not a tagline for those of us who are serving in the higher education industry. In fact, the students, they are the most important stakeholders as they shoulder the responsibilities of defining the future of the mankind. I hope this seminar, through the lenses of Professor Chen and Professor Dato' Hamdi, will help us to see the world, the current affairs, the things we are familiar with from multiple angles, and then make connections between different dimensions or discipline, and that we could bring concepts, events, and people into the focus from different perspectives. Last but not least, on behalf of Mr. Kelvin Peng, the chairman of the Associations of Global Industry Academia Collaborations Malaysia, who unfortunately cannot be here with us as he's in the UK right now, I wish to present the best wishes from Mr. Jita He, the Executive Director of Sailing One Cultural and Educational Foundations, as well as Professor Ovid Cheng, the President of the University Alliance in Talent Education Development, to Professor Datuk Hamdi for a fruitful sharing. And the best wishes go to Professor Chen as well. We look forward to receiving you in Malaysia, and we are keeping your flowers upon your arrival. With that, I wish everyone a fruitful seminar, and may I invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to join me with a big round of applause to welcome Professor Chen to deliver his presentations. Prof. Chen, do you want to just switch off your video for a moment and say hi to our audience?
Professor Haydn Chen, are you there?
Well, it is, yeah. He's currently in Illinois. Well, 4:30, 4:40 time. Anyway, for that reason, we actually have a pre-recorded presentations of Professor Chen, and we shall be playing that, and subsequently will follow by the presentation in person by Professor Hamdi. Okay, Audif, thank you.
To all of you who have been working at university. Whether you are a student, a faculty member, an administrator, or an enterprise employee, or government, you should be very much interested in finding out what the form and the future of the universities are. And today, I would like to share with you on this very important topic. The outline of my talk in 3 sections. First of all, I would like to share with you to understand what's the rapid change era of our world, from which we can derive what would be the goal of a university education, what kind of changes we should make in order to adjust ourselves in teaching and learning to suit the future needs. I'm going to use several examples. As a matter of fact, 6 examples to show to you some of the leading universities have been doing in dealing with the future of the universities. First, let's take a look at this rapid change world, in which I'm going to review 3 aspects. First of all, I would like to share with you the driving forces for the future jobs, and also the views from the enterprises, as well as the reflections from the academics. From the Institute for the Future in 2011, it has been identified that there are 6 driving forces for future job changes. And these driving forces include aging society with improving healthcare, smart machines and systems, data analytics of mass information, the new media ecology, super large organization, and the global connections. Driven by these 6 forces, there are new job opportunities which will be created to deal with the future work needs. Those future work skills can be cross-disciplinary. It requires adaptable thinking, insightful views, as well as other design mindsets, cross-culture, cognitive bearings, etc., and etc. In other words, there are some new skills that must be given to the students in order to handle the jobs for the future. The Industrial Revolution 4.0, which introduced artificial intelligence, AI, and the big data, and other aspects of the job skills. Those new jobs will be created by many more, while some old traditional jobs will disappear. Thereby, it requires innovation and creativity in order to successfully create new opportunities for the future, among which some of the soft skills can enable you to continue to grow and advance. And besides the specialty skills, soft skills such as attitude and virtues are more important in some cases. From the driving forces for the future jobs, let's take a look of the views of the enterprises. Here I have 3 panels of a review, which are written both in English and in Chinese. From the top panel, based upon a review, a survey of a magazine, it has found out the professional specialty, the importance of the specialties, only amounts to about 43 or 44% in terms of its importance. More importantly, the enterprise leaders think the workers, the employees, need to have the ability to learn to adjust and to have a proactive attitude. And beyond that, the adaptability and also stability of the workers, in addition to the responsibility and self-management, they are all very important skills that the workers should have. On the lower right panel, which is taken out of a book written by Dr. Li Jianfu, who used to be general manager of Google in the Greater China area. In his book, he says, the successful graduates from a university requires the following 7 important elements. These 7 elements are innovation and practices, cross-disciplinary, good IQ, EQ, and SQ. SQ represents spirituality quotient. And also, the graduate should have effective communication skills, has passions towards work, proactive, and optimistic, as well as forward-looking mentalities. On the lower left-hand side, these are the words spoken by the former chair of the board, Maurice Zhang of TSMC. He expressed his opinion that the younger generation, the younger new workers, should have the high moral standards, also forward-looking with inspiring attitude, with the optimistic and humble, adaptable, and facing challenges with the charisma and ability to change. Looking at these 3 panels of review, which represents the views of the enterprise leaders, they tell us the very important skills that the young workers need to possess is beyond just professional specialties, and many of which are so-called soft skills. And let's take a look at the reflections of the academics, what our colleagues working in higher education have to say. I use 2 examples. One example is taken out of a book written by Derek Bok, who used to be the president of Harvard University. He has written a book under the title of Our Underachieving College. In his book, he said, there are 8 education objectives in the 21st century for all students. As a matter of fact, in those 8 education objectives, Harvard universities is not doing as well as they could have been. And these 8 education objectives are summarized here in this table, in this plot, starting from the top, learning to communicate, and going clockwise, learning to think, building characters, preparation for citizenship, living with diversity, preparing for a global society, and acquiring broader interest, as well as preparing for careers. So these are 8 educational objectives, which Derek Bok thinks is very important for the young people, and they should be properly taught in the universities. And those 8 educational objectives are most likely known as so-called soft skills. Another example which I want to share with you are the words expressed by the former president of Yale University, Richard Levine. He served as the president of Yale University for 20 years, from 1993 to 2013. He said, in many occasions, that university education is more than just teaching knowledge and skills, but enable students to take on any subject in any job assignment. Thereby, Yale devotes herself to nurturing leadership with the core values in the whole person education, which is to equip students with the ability of critical thinking independently, so to lay foundation for the lifelong learning. Yale University emphasizes whole person education, which is the liberal arts education, and the core values are free and open spirits, civil responsibilities, and far-reaching aspirations and ambitions. Richard Levine once said during a graduation commencement to the graduating class, and he said, I paraphrased, if a Yale graduate proclaims that he or she has acquired special knowledge and skills in any specific discipline in 4 years of undergraduate studies, that would be the biggest failure of Yale's education. What this implies is that both Derek Bok as well as Richard Levine, they think a university education should go beyond just a specialty professional education. And more importantly, is the whole person education, the liberal arts education, the education that encompasses many aspects of the subject with both hard skills and the soft skills.